You're over here tapping in with KWJT, Puget Sound from space. I'm over here with Corey. You're tapping in with Tavares and sliding with Solana.
Shit.
I don't know what the fuck's going on, man. A whole lot of KWJT shit, man. 2022. Let's go crazy. Brazy. AZ. I'm feeling that. A whole lot of love. You feel me? We really appreciate our groovers for tapping in with us, continuing to tap in with us, and supporting the brand and the platform. 2, Tranquil Forest. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys for holding it down for the team. It's always love. And without further ado, let me introduce this week's guest. We got Grxtty. Motherfucking building. And we got Steve.
Come on.
Shout out Steve. Shout out to Ultra.
Can't forget.
Cannot forget. Yes, welcome.
How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing well, man. Today I just had some Christmas. That's why I'm in my nice sweater.
Nice.
Yeah, my family actually, my mom and my little sisters got COVID for Christmas, so didn't actually have a Christmas. Luckily, it's all good. They got the COVID light, so it's nothing crazy. But
that's good.
Yeah, but so we just had Christmas today, so coming off some good family vibes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling today.
Oh, hell yeah. How are you, Steve?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Similar vibes. Went to stop by, see my grandma earlier.
Oh, nice.
Chopped it up
Okay.
with her for a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Some good Sunday vibes.
Yeah, good family day.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. And here at the Groovy Tapes podcast, it is another family day. So we're out here having fun.
I just love the way you said the name today. I wanted to start where this duo started because I've ran into you guys a lot during last year, and what just runs through is like this is a friendship before it's anything else. Mm-hmm. So how'd you guys like form it? Were you guys enemies before you were friends, or has like you guys always been thugging it out through and through?
That's so funny you say that. It's crazy. Because we were just talking about this on the car ride over. Steve was like, all right, let's get our story straight so we don't sound like fools. How did we meet?
Because I remember it started with like in my head, you know, I was like it was like a playground fight. Yeah. You know, before I like really knew him.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. So I was glad I wasn't like gonna come here and be like, yo, I try to fight him. And he was like, oh, you sound crazy.
Yeah. So that's why it's so funny you said enemies, because that's really what it was. I met Steve at White Center Heights Elementary School. A lot of people don't know that about me. You know, I always claim the Fed, but there was a brief moment in time, about actually 3 years. I was living in White Center, and that's where I met some of my closest friends. Steve's one of them. So, I mean, Steve at this point is my brother, you know. Yeah. So it's a brotherhood. But yeah, we met. There was like some sort of altercation that happened on the playground. I can't say what happened, but eventually Mrs. Bogat sat us down. First grade, she's like, you two were fighting, you have to figure it out. And I'm pretty sure that night, like I met, like, that was like my first time talking to Steve. We talked in that meeting with the teacher, and then that night I was like at Steve's house kicking with his family. Yeah, and then middle, you know, now we're here. Like that's
we're
literally
playing GameCube or some shit.
Oh, that's fire. So it was just like it was one of those middle school misunderstandings where like you had to check the temperature.
First grade, elementary. Yeah, we just like it was, you know, when it's like first grade, it's primitive. It's just like somebody could look at you.
It's different out there, especially when going to school during our times. How old are you, by the way? What time was this?
I'm 24, so this was
okay, same time.
Same
yeah. I'm class of 20. We're class 2016. I'm So yeah, what year was that? I guess we were like must have been like
school years 7? Are weird to me. I can't name
like
school years
04 or something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, going back to that point, it's definitely a primitive time. This is getting rowdy on that playground.
And I was bad too. Like I was a bad kid. Like I'm pretty well mannered and pretty tempered these days, but in White Center, that was when like I was like I didn't even care. Like I eventually like basically got kicked out of that school. And then before I moved to Fed, like I remember just it could have been I might have been the one who started the beef with Steve. But yeah, so
ready to turn it up at any moment.
Yeah.
So I was curious how you started your producing life and like really got into like music heavy because you are the sonics behind a lot of what Grxtty does. So was like a natural like progression love of like just getting to like music?
Yeah, my my uncle was really into music, and he was living with me like around this time, and I got into music because the homie that lived across the street from me, shouts out Polo, he won a guitar at the Puyallup Fair.
Oh, fire!
And then he brought it home. Didn't want nothing to do with it. But we were at my house kicking it, and my uncle's like playing it, and I was like, "Can you show me how to play something? Like how you know I'm trying to learn." He showed me like a song on like one string, and then that turned into like me learning guitar a little bit. And then like in middle school, I got a guitar like 7th grade. But then in 8th grade, I got into drumming. I got in like a band. I was a drummer in a band.
Okay.
And then went for like a few years. And then after like that fell out, one of my teachers was like, "You should like make beats." And I was like, all right.
That's
fine. And like when I was younger, I, messed with it a little bit, but in high school is when I really started making beats.
Do you just play 2 instruments, or are you do you also play some piano?
Yeah, I can. I mean, I don't like. I'm not like skilled. Like I'm not classically trained type stuff. But I can play. I play all that stuff.
Yeah. If you teach yourself, that's still a level of genius.
Piano.
You know,
Steve play the piano. Steve play the drums. Steve play guitar.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to think I could play anything.
Okay, I fuck with that because I like just the way you just transition to just like chords to like bass line is just always so cool to me because like. I've never had the attention span to like understand music just because like outside of the feeling it gives you, I'm just like, I'm lost and like just the time it takes. So like, I think it's dope when people like dedicate time, especially as like a younger age, like especially when the hella shit is like grabbing your attention and you're just like I'm gonna learn guitar. Yeah. And then you just like transfer that energy into like, fuck it, I'm gonna learn drums too. And Steve is also filthy at the piano, so this is breaking news if you didn't know. That's fire to me. Just because I'm like, I've never, my brain and my like hands don't agree. So like,
no, I feel that.
Bro, I can't play an instrument at all. Steve has seen me try it like many times. I can't. I got funny fingers. I can't even really do complicated handshakes like that. Like, and I always like, I'm just like, I'll go in with the dap and the hug. That's like my main thing because like. I feel like if you fuck up, like, it just seems like it's a white thing. So people can't do like, he's just a little too white. He can't do the handshake. And no, I can't. Yeah, I got funny fingers. So that's why I rap.
I fuck with that too. My hands are, sometimes they can't agree.
I wanted to ask you, how'd your relationship begin with ETC and how did that get started?
That was, so I had never been to ETC. I just kind of knew about him around like 2016, 2017, something like that. I was just trying to tap into anything that was going on in the scene. Because me and Steve have been doing music forever. And this time when we were talking about when me and Steve like met on the playground, like I had already been rapping. Like that was like kind of like I'm like 7 years. Like it was like just I was already freestyling and stuff. So I've been doing music forever and like, just back in those times, just thinking like I was the only one doing music. Like, like if you're not tapped into the scene, it's very easy in Seattle to feel like you're the only one doing it. You're like, nobody's doing it out here. I'm going to be the one. And, and you like don't know what's going on around you. So I kind of just started looking around and ended up just finding ETC. I might have found like their Instagram or something like that. And they were looking for, they used to do a mixtape series every summer called Soundwaves.
Oh, that's fire.
And they would curate a mixtape they would just have people locally send them music. And if they liked it, they would put it on the project and they would drop it. And I was so confident back in the day too. Like they tweeted an email, and I remember the subject was something like they were like looking for fire, and my subject was like here's some fire and nothing else. and it was just like a download for like an MP3. And then they didn't know me, they never seen me, and that was how I got like my first write up. That was my first like sort of like scene look. Like they picked the song and they gave me a nice write up in this. They liked it, and I just off of that knew that I like should go show face. And I just pulled it to the shop one day, very timidly walked up and just was like fake looked at the racks like well I'm this guy, like y'all picked me for the song. and then it's been love since. And so and then the way it kind of ended up being a relationship for filming, because I was going to school for film at the same time. Yeah. Well, technically I was going to school for TV and broadcast, and I went to Gonzaga. And
that's fire.
Yeah, and so it was an interesting experience. We could talk about it if you want to, but I was studying that, and ended up eventually dropping out my junior year, and it was like one of the first things I did when I dropped out was I just was in Tacoma, and I was staying in Renton at the time, but I was in Tacoma. The shop closes at 7. It was like 6 p.m. And if you pull up to ETC at like 6 p.m., it's just gonna be Daz there. Yeah. Like it's like everybody leaves Daz there, you know, and it's just him kicking it. And so I pulled up on him and it was just like, he's like, "Yo, what are you up to?" And I was like, "Oh, you know, I was in school for film. Here's like a music video that I had like one of the homies I'd shot before I left, because I went to London for a semester, and that was in that semester was when I had like I was because since it wasn't actually film at Gonzaga, and I went to Queen Mary in London, and I was studying actual film classes. Oh shit! I was like, I'm not learning. I was like, everything at Gonzaga is not gonna, like, at the point that I want to go with film is like I'm not gonna learn that much. I'd rather just get paid to do my homework than just do homework. So that's kind of like the way I rationalized it in my head. And so I came back with that video that I edited, showed Daz, and he was just like, "Nah, that's fire. Like, I want you to come film some stuff for me." Filmed a couple things, and then by the time that was all edited and done, I got the thumbs up from P, who's the owner of ETC, one of the co-owners, and he was just like, "You want to, you know, like let's sit down, let's make a deal with however much we need to give you. If it needs to be like ended up being a deal where like they pay me a little bit, give me some gear, so I always have like all the new drops. Like
always got a good drop.
So yeah, and then it's been that ever since, and that's fam now. Like that's like, you know, we go. It's not always work. Like I said, we when Kick did through some axes yesterday. It's just like at the end of the day, even if it like ends up like becoming like, you know, like if the music becomes more of my career, then I can't even really help them in that way. I know it's always gonna be love. So that's just like somewhere I hold dearly. So yeah, that's
fucking
short
amazing.
little story.
Let's give that a round of applause. You were very light on the applause on the interview we did yesterday, so I'm trying to go crazy today. I'm sorry, Groovers.
Yeah, drop some bombs on me.
See, we finna get Tavares to go boot, and that'll be our bombs in the future.
That's lit.
I gotta record that in Jamaica.
You have to record it.
I won't feel right.
You're doing it
right here.
So you're doing it in general.
Like, I'm here. Wagwan. What's going on, man?
I was curious, were you always so confident in the music that you were recording? Because to send it to ETC without having any like form of like what they were doing in like the city, or just their own like internet perception of what they were doing in the city, and not have that feel. Have you always been just like knew that you had something strong with the music?
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
like,
well, by the time he sent that song to ETC, we were already like a couple projects.
Okay. Yeah, we were like 3 mixtapes in at that point. Yeah. And that this like, and like I'm saying, like I still didn't, 3 mixtapes in, had no idea that nobody even in the city was even making music. I think I was ignorantly like, thought I still like, there was like a core belief. It's like sometimes some stuff will happen. I'm like, damn, Steve, am I really the best rapper ever lived? and like, so it's like kind of like a running joke. But at this time, definitely thought I was the best rapper ever lived. Like I was I was not even nowhere near like making the quality music that I'm making now. So it's kind of always like arrogantly been there. But like I feel like you kind of got to have a little bit of that arrogance to just even like believe in yourself so hard to do something crazy like be a rapper, you know?
No, I feel the same way, because I like music is so tricky, and to be like, and like I feel like being a rapper is so much like I'm the best at this, just because of how the sport is viewed, and like just that dynamics of just like rap music and just hip hop's like umbrella and just like what it trickled down into. So I always feel like if you don't have that confidence to like I'm the best on stage, I make the best music, like I might fuck with him on some Sonic shit, but like put us head to head, it's L's every time. So like, I feel like if you don't have that mentality, especially in the field of rap, you don't believe as much as like you're trying to convince other people to believe. So I think that's dope to just know from jump that like I got it. Like if no one's gonna represent Washington, Grxtty got it. So like, you know, so to even aspire to be like that 5-6 years ago and just making such much more incredible music today, I think is fire. It just shows the growth and where you can. There's never a limit to like just believing yourself and just knowing like I fucking got this. So I think that's fucking dope.
Thank you, man. No, that's really how it is. And like I always ever since we've been doing stuff, like recording, I always am like, I'm never gonna make a song better than this. Like if this doesn't work, then it's like it's not gonna happen. And then I always make another better song, and I always make another one, and then I'm like, okay, and then now I'm less in my head about like worrying about when it's gonna happen and how it's. And now I'm just kind of trying to do stuff I haven't done before and just moving the needle, you know.
Okay, that is that why the project that you guys recorded hasn't official? I would say it's out, but it's not everywhere.
Yeah, like a little soft launch.
Yeah.
It's a soft launch, and we want to do a little more things to it.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. There's a few things with that project. Like we're gonna go back and maybe like. We might touch up the mixes a little bit. There's some rawness to that project that I really love. That's like, well, being that the you know it's called Pussy Ruined My Life, and it has like this like, it's very personal to me, but as we were making it, we quickly realized that it was easily the best music I've ever made, and I was like, and I think I intentionally was leaning into like being more personal and talking about stuff that I thought I couldn't talk about. Cause in a weird way, I kind of have been a public figure just because of like, I was in leadership in high school and I was the president of my school and stuff like that. And so like, not, definitely like not like clouded, but in terms of like, I could get in trouble if someone catches me at a party type shit. So I was always kind of extra aware of what I was doing on social media. And I think that burdened me a little bit when I was making music, and I think I wasn't like willing to talk about like anything like overly explicitly sexual or talk about like smoking and shit like that, which is like made sense to being like an 18-year-old made perfect sense back then, but now like as soon as I started leaning into that part of just my truths and my reality, everything just started clicking, and I was just telling stories from my life. It's like just real shit. And like there was, and that specifically that moment in time, I was like, I guess a more appropriate title would be like Pussy's Ruining My Life. Like that shit, like I was making that shit while I was like, I had a girlfriend who was a stripper, and it was like all bad, like very toxic situation. And I didn't meet her at the strip club, but I was working at a strip club, a different strip club, and I was DJing at the strip club, and that was only a few months. My mental could only take it for so long, but it was such a weird like headspace to be in. And whenever I had free time, I would just pull up to Steve's house, and just like whatever beat had got made that day, I would just click record and just record like a freestyle. And that's what a lot of the songs were that made it. That weren't even they were literally just in our vault. And as I was listening to them with the stuff that's more polished that I end up like taking longer to write out, I was like, wow, this stuff is this is almost like a diary entry of where like I just come and like I'm like talking about like, damn, like I just got the new Benz, and I just like, and I had just got the new Benz, and I was like feeling like I'm the man right now, like really feeling just really inside that like that weird like subculture of life. And it was just like, I'm like, damn, this like very very much I was leading my life with lust, and it was a interesting time, but it was a great time for creation. I think I learned a lot about myself and what I was capable of, and also to being a DJ at a strip club, I learned like what works, and like what works with like what kind of music like women are dancing to. And I think women are like the real culture pushers as far as like the soundscape, of just music, of especially with hip hop
music,
and so. And I was like, well, none of this gritty shit's gonna get played here. So, and then I kind of redid my sound a little bit, and Steve has always been heavy with the drums. All of his shit's kind of always had that groove to it. So, it just clicked up perfectly, and I just found my pocket, and that's when I really started making shit that sounded like gritty music. Like before, I could hear hints of my influences heavy, but now I'm very confident in what a gritty song sounds like.
Did this start when you were making Google Me Better, or did it really truly start with Pussy Ruined My Life?
It started with that. Yeah, Google Me Better ended up being like just a way to just kind of hey, shout out the EP. We got a little honorable mention, Seattle Times. That was great.
Come on.
Google Me Better was just like I just had music, and we dropped Show the Freak, and Show the Freak did so well. Was so unexpected. Like literally the only reason I dropped it is because I paid too much for the master, and I was like, I'm just gonna drop this like I
Yes.
live.
Yes.
Bro,
Like,
rightfully
getting
so.
my money's worth.
I was like,
What
this
in
is
the world.
for a minute song. In retrospect, I was like, the dude who mastered it is super professional, and like when I hear it compared to other songs that I haven't got mastered by that, it was worth the money.
Yeah.
But I don't got budgets like that, so I just put it out there. Yeah, I'll take a little hit.
Oh, sorry, I could have.
No, you're good, money. I like to ask before we go back and forth ping ponging it.
But yeah, so Google Me Better was just like we had those songs finished, and wanted to put them out. So those are all gonna be on the album.
Okay.
All those songs are gonna be on the album, and the album was gonna be a lot more bloated. But we just those are some of the ones that some of the songs were ones that like we really believed in. Like Put It Back was one that we knew like we were like this is a hit. Like we want this one to be like give it as much shine as possible. Johnny Dang, we knew that one just had like everybody that I showed. I had like a vault of files that I was like kind of showing around to a bunch of people. Like,
yeah.
And then Johnny Dang was the one that always stuck out. Everybody's like that one just hits, and I was like that one has to go on it. And then Pretty was one that I had initially didn't like. I thought it was too like
Really.
Pretty.
I love Pretty.
I'm glad you do, and a lot of people do, and I'm so glad to put it. Shout out to Gank because Gank was the one who convinced me that he stepped out for the call, but Gank was the one who told me, he's like, I listened to that whole thing. He's like, Pretty like has to go. I was like, really? I was about to scrap Pretty. I was gonna throw it away. I was literally like, yeah. I was like, it didn't have the vocals on it at first. That's actually the person singing on that. That's my old roommate from college.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Shout out to Jay, Black Liver Boy. Yeah. So we were roommates in my sophomore year at Gonzaga, and he was going to Gonzaga on a vocal scholarship. So he's like really classically like he could sing.
Oh, that's
like,
fire.
He could really sing, and so. We always talked about making music, and then when I was talking to Gank, he was like, like this. He's like, no, you should do Pretty. You should add somebody to sing on it, and then so I was like, well, I know somebody who could sing really well, and then ended up making that happen, and it's beautiful. I love that song now. I love it.
It really reminds me of spring, like just that feeling of when the cherry blossoms come out. It gives me a very like Washington changing season feeling, and I'm like just sliding somewhere on some like the first really sunny day, like it might be like 58 and like Pretty comes on, and it's like it's perfect. That's the feeling it gave me.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man.
So yeah, I'm so happy I made the project. I'm so happy.
But I remember when he pulled up on me, he was like, "Yo, bro, I got this song. Like, I don't know about it though," and he rapped me it, and I was like, "Shit's crazy."
Yeah, right. I was playing the beat out
the
phone.
Like, yeah, it was just like the straight beat, and he's like, bro, I got like, this is what I'm thinking right here, and I'm just like, this is real. Like this is like it was like I felt like at that moment like his sound was gonna change. Like
yeah,
because I honestly like purposely like I've had all like a lot of these songs and stuff. Like he sent them to me like when he made them. Like, he was like sending them to me. And I purposely didn't listen to any of it until like it came out.
I love that. I do the same thing with his music. I can't.
Same thing with me.
I don't like the singles. I want to hear the project because like it lets me understand like just a little bit more of your brain and just your sequencing. Just because I'm not in the studio as much with Tavares these days. I was there for the first two projects, but now he kind of just lone wolfs it on his Saturday nights. But I don't listen to the single. I'll download it. I'll play it, but I really won't like digest the music until like he gives me the full project, and I don't try to get the early like I want to listen on the DSPs. I really would just want to enjoy it just because I feel like his sequencing is very him, and like how he comes up to like from track A to track Z. I always feel like it's how his brain works and just a lot more of his thinking. And I don't want the single because like I may think this is one, like, oh, this is what I'm gonna ride out to. This is what we're gonna start
one off the bat,
And sometimes it's 5 or 6. So I'm like, okay, how do we get here? Like, let me take that path with you. So like, that's kind of like how I like to enjoy the music. That's how I enjoyed your album. It's just from like start to finish. I got to hear it before it dropped, but I just love that. I just love your sequencing. I love the bonus track, and it just gave me like it felt like a level up. It felt like you were what you said at the listening party was just like I feel like I'm making gritty songs now, and I felt it from start to finish. And now with Pussy Ruined My Life. I feel like I absolutely feel you when you say I know what a gritty song is, because like when I listen to the music, it doesn't I don't see anyone else, you know, like just knowing you and having seen you perform and just seeing you out in the world, I don't feel the music matches your personality and the energy you bring to the world. So I think that's really dope, and being authentic when you like put something sonically out.
Man,
so I think, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Stop that motherfucking hand clap real quick.
Yeah,
we talked about a lot of work. I'm sorry, let me cut you off.
You good.
We definitely covered a lot of ground and space. I did want to say before we moved on with the conversation that sequencing is a lost art, and you know I see artists like Adele and Beyonce and like a lot of those like forerunners of like people who really like move the world with their sound and how they develop their like album making and things like that, and like it's important. And I feel like if you're an artist listening right now, like, you know, please don't lose touch with that, because, you know, like, you know, brother said, like how you listen to things, it is, you know, you might run across an artist that actually like takes the time with their team or whoever they're with themselves that put those specific orders and sequence their music. So
yeah, no, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like I'm super intentional about that. Like really intentional. I'm like even when it was like even as I'm listening to it on SoundCloud, like I was resequencing it after it was up, and that was kind of the beauty of doing like a soft launch like that. Was just like it's also only the people who really want to listen to it are gonna go seek it out and listen to it. So it's only for them, and you know I get to play with stuff like that. And no, that's like I'm just stoked to hear that you're even like paying attention to stuff like that, because Steve knows how much I obsess over little like and I'll be like upset about it too if it's wrong. I'm like damn.
So that's initially where it like all started, like as far as like with the sequence. I was just his engineer at first before I made the beats, and like I remember we would just sit there after we had all the songs and like just putting them together was the best part. Like just like
I love that shit. Like literally like what was there was even the time there's a mixtape that I made by myself in my dorm room when I first went to college. Like I was like no, I wasn't gonna be around Steve, and I just like had bought some like a little Focusrite, a little like audio AT2020, just recorded in my dorm, and I came back summer break with like a whole mixtape to Steve and was like, and we sequenced it. We still sequence it, you know. We still like listen. Like, does it tell a story? And we're just big on. I think naturally that's like why we get along so well. We're just big on being storytellers and just how can we use our art to tell stories, you know.
Was that kind of the mindset behind the bus ads and having them on like the light rail and like having them on the bus? Just running through the city so much? Yeah.
That was, I think that's like an idea that we had for a while, in terms of like something that you just say in passing, like, damn, like I wonder how these get on the bus. And then eventually I wonder how I could get on the bus. Yeah. And
seriously, I was riding my buses and I was like, man, there's a Grxtty everywhere. This is amazing.
No, it's lit. Like it's so it's crazy. It ended up being crazier than I thought it was gonna be. And I just at first like I called them and I was like, I try to act as I always I don't have a manager. I don't have a formal manager, and so sometimes some of the homies will take up that role. Like Gank will help me out sometimes, but for the most part, it's literally just me and just like with my crazy ideas and just like trying to just. And I guess that makes me like I don't have to convince anybody, which is nice, you know. So I just found the number, called the number, was talking to him. He told me how much it was gonna be, and which is for the record, just because people ask, and I'm comfortable because I end up taking out a loan for it, like a official loan. So it's not really like it ended up costing me like 12 racks to do the whole thing, and it's like 30 ads total.
That's a good investment in yourself.
And the only reason why I bring it up is because I'm not balling, but I just say that just to say is like that's how crazy I believe in myself though. Like I think that's not gonna be a death sentence to me for me to be able to pay that, because I'm in my mind I'm like, yeah, I gotta pay off, pay a loan is like it's like getting a credit card. You pay the monthly fee, whatever it is, and it's like, damn, you're locked in for, it could be 5-6 years locked in on this, or who knows? I might be on in 2 years, and it's just 10 racks ain't that much.
Exactly.
Once you're really on. But no, it's super like meta in a way. Like me and Steve, we used to be heavy into graffiti back when we were kids. This was another part, like always doing art, just in different mediums too. We were just super into graffiti, and we used to just go rack. And for those who don't know graffiti lingo, racking is where you go steal some paint. But
yeah,
we used to go rack. We used to go take the bus to like Michael's or like a hardware store or something, and we had like a whole technique. We used to tuck the shirt. You tuck the shirt in the pants. You don't steal, kids, but if you tuck the shirt in the pants, you got a big hoodie on.
You drop the
markers.
You know what I'm saying?
Paint cans, full paint cans, all that. Like, so that was, we used to go steal our graffiti supplies, then tag on the bus the whole way home, and then like that was like. We kicked it like that for like a whole summer. Yeah,
like a full circle moment.
And so just like to be actually like legal graffiti is what it felt like.
Yeah,
just being like because it's not really an advertisement. It's not like there's not and we tried to do the Google Me Better like logo basically, which it's just the Google like font with the Google colorway.
Yeah,
and they were like no. We pushed it because it had to go through an agency who talks to King County. The agency was cool with it. But King County was like, nah, and I tried to fake lawyer it and but yeah,
they were not having
it. They weren't having
it. Nah, Google will see this shit somehow. They be in the city.
Yeah, exactly. And now like the fact that they're up for so long, because I only paid for a month, but they've been having them run. I think they're still running.
Yeah, they're still running. I saw one
change it unless
exactly. Unless someone else is gonna spend the money to be like, all right, I need that. Exactly. I think that is a beautiful thing, just because like a lot of people don't have the or I wouldn't say have the foresight, but just the genuine belief in themselves to be like, all right, I have this vision of like where I want people to see my name, and I want them to see it everywhere on the bus, on like. So just to have that moment of just like I used to do it myself, now I can have it. I think that shit is fire. Because when I saw it before you tweeted it, I was like, "Is that Grxtty?" I was like, because I didn't really know you, and I was like, "Is that Grxtty?" I'm not 100% sure. And then I saw it again, and I was like, "All right, yeah, that's definitely Grxtty." And that's like it's so fire to just see people that I meet in the industry like do real. That's a moment. Like no one can ever take that moment away from you, where buses throughout the city had your name on them and continue to have your name on them. The light rail still has it. Like, it's just those things where those are cultural moments that like when you get right up still like have to do the digging, and they'll be like, damn, Grxtty had his name on buses before we knew about him. Like, what? How come we don't know about Grxtty? It'll create this allure that just continues your story and just creates better moments in the future.
Yeah, no, you said it perfect. Like that's what it's about. That's what it boiled down to. Is like, oh, this can be a moment, and that's what I mean when I'm so like not so much worried about when it's gonna happen. As long as I'm keep making moments and stuff, make the moment, make the movement type of thing. And that was when I called them initially. Back to just way before when I called them initially, they told me how much it was. I remember I basically hung up. I was like, okay, yeah. I was like,
rushing them off the phone.
Because he tried to play me. He was like, oh, it's gonna be like 800 or 600 to 800 per ad, and I was like, okay, yeah, like that's. I was like 600 to 800. I was like, I could drop like a nice 12, get 2 ads. That'd be crazy. I'll be able to get the flick off, and like someone might see it. That's cool. And then he was like, yeah, but it's a 10K minimum. And I was like, oh, word, okay, yeah, okay. And I just try to play it off, and then. But then that's what clicked with me too. I was like, well, it's kind of untouchable at that point. If it is kind of a ridiculous amount of money to just that not anybody could just spend the bread to do, then that's how I felt like it was really going to make a moment. I was like, I can't. It's not easily replicated,
Exactly.
Yeah. So. And
people will know who. At least in our space in the industry, people will know who took the leap first and really all right, I'm gonna commit to running this ad. I'm gonna put the money up to just on some. I think it's a fly rapper moment to just be like, my name was on buses before anybody,
Because Could have bought a car, bought a bus.
Exactly.
Could have got a chain. Could have got the
Could have
Grxtty
got
chain.
so much shit.
Yeah, could have bought.
You know how often I'm on the bus and I see an ad on the bus or some on the bus and I'm like, what the fuck is that, bro?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I look on my phone. That's a real deal moment, especially just being able to like, I'm a commuter, so I be on that bus.
Yeah.
That bus moment and having that like that ad on there, especially that ties in with like your story of doing art with graffiti. That shit is special as fuck. Like that shit's crazy. It was around that time when it first started coming around. I started seeing it all over, like on the 106 and the 7. I was like, bro, these are my buses. Like it's a special kind of like care you have for your craft. Like I'm gonna take this leap to like show people like it's something so small, like you glance at something like that, but like when you leave it you're like, man, I really like that. Like, and knowing you personally, that shit's dope.
Thank you, man. Thank you for real.
Sorry.
I was just saying that's love that makes me feel way better about spending 10 racks on some bus ass.
It definitely it was very inspirational for me as a just seeing it. It was just like, damn, it made me want a billboard. It was like I was like, fuck, now I got to figure out how to do it and like do it in a unique way, because I'm just like, it was really cool to see you do it first. But I wanted to ask about not having you don't have any videos out. You have more interviews out than you have videos. So
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I do.
That's kind of tight.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard. So we had a video and that's actually how I ended up meeting Swim Team and getting associated in that side of Seattle. There's a song, I'm not sure if you're familiar, it's an older song called Walk. And that song was actually like that was one of my bigger songs, and we were like, this one needs a video, and it's still to this day that song still goes crazy live. It's really not one of my favorites, but people fuck with that one. But yeah, we have a video for that one, but it's unlisted right now, and I just felt like I wasn't really comfortable enough with myself at the time, like I was just talking to you about being like, when you look like you belong there, and the visuals, it's way more believable. Like, I just felt like I was just at such a weird moment in making my creations, and just, I don't think I was fully there, feeling confident. So when I look back at it, I'm like, I still see myself, but I see somebody who is not as sure about what he's even doing,
Yeah.
And then and then that was like the one where we actually like put money towards it. Before that, we had a bunch of like shitty videos that like me and the homies would like shoot, and just like they're just not quality,
Yeah.
And they're for songs that are older and that really aren't quality. But yeah, we're actually shooting a video. That reminds me, I was gonna invite y'all. Y'all trying to pull it to the shoot?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it after this. But
okay.
yeah, we're doing a shoot next week, and
okay, fine.
yeah, so we're actually working on the first Grxtty video right now. We already shot half of it. And so we just need to pick up another scene, and we're just trying to get just all like the people.
I need to get my cameos up.
Yeah,
surely.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're trying to just bring some people who are making it move in the city, and just have
a good time.
Yeah, just have a good time. That's like, yeah. So I definitely have a master plan on how it's going to unfold. At this point too, it's kind of gotten weirder because it's like, because I make film myself.
Yeah.
So now it's like, damn, do I have like some sort of bar that I have to reach? I think I'm definitely in over my head over it. Like, I'm just like, overthinking it so much, but I'm excited to do videos. Like, I think once I really am locked in on like making gritty videos, I think it's gonna be a whole new love for the craft for me, because I just really haven't even worried my mind with that yet. Yeah. So once I'm really and I want to go back to, like, we're gonna do videos for Google Me Better, and we're gonna do videos for older songs too, and just any, like, I don't really think like stuff like that matters. Like, I know as a fan, being a fan of any artist, like if like Kanye or Drake dropped a video for a song that we haven't seen a video for ever, I'd be just as hyped as if it dropped yet, so it's like, just right now I'm just in the mode of just creation, and also it's kind of been a little bit of a game with myself to see like how much like how much of a movement can I make without visuals? Even though I'm on the side of being, like I definitely do believe that visuals push you way more as an artist. So it's kind of been a fun little challenge to see how, what I can do without a visual.
That's fire.
So, and I think I've been doing pretty well. I think people are listening, and that's just so like the way you guys are talking about my music. I can tell you are genuine, like listening to it and not just like not passively. Like it's like that's all I really want. Depending on whatever the numbers may look like, as long as people who are actually engaging with the music, like you said, you're describing it as like spring. Like you have like actual like emotions tied. Like that's more than I ever thought it was ever gonna be. So I just keep chasing that. Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. I have to let it ring.
I'm here though. I'm here.
You have a fire photo of you hooping on the ground. It's one of those ones you dream of because it's mid shot. It's like you can tell whatever narrative you want.
I break that shot too.
Really?
Break it.
It look perfect. You shoot over 2 people. Anytime you shoot over 2 people, it don't matter the story. The photo is so like
you made that shit.
Bro, we should have framed that.
Y'all got space on the
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah, and that's by the legend Trapographer too. That photo is hilarious.
I didn't know that. That is funny.
Yeah, that's
bro, professional athletic photographer.
Yeah, he shoots for the W. Yeah. So that photo is so funny. I wasn't even supposed to be in that tournament, and then the day before, the homies from Alaska and Frozen Gang they like came to like play in it, and the day before we were all at the park just shooting around, and I'm awful at basketball, by the way. Like I'm talking about like. I always like am traveling. Like I don't even really know the rules 100%, but I love basketball more than anything. Like I love I played football. That was kind of my sport if I were to claim one.
Yeah.
But basketball, I don't know. There's something about playing. Basketball is just hella fun.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter how good you're like, and then when you finally get one in, oh man. So, but I pulled up that day and I was hot. Like this is the day right before I was like hot. Like I'm talking about like they passing the ball and I'm like just joking around like let me. Oh, splash. And I was like, and I made like 6 in a row. I'm just doing that. I just be like, no, pass me that. And everybody knows I'm ass. Everybody knows I'm ass too. So they're freaking out. Like, they're like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh, it's the shoes. Like, if you look at it, I'm wearing like these busted, like I have these busted Onitsuka Tigers that I always rock. And they're hella comfortable. But they're like, I was rocking them. I was like, "It's the shoes," and so yeah. I might have made like 9 before I like end up missing that day. So I was like, "Oh no, I'm playing in the tournament tomorrow. I'm figuring it out." And so we put together a little like co-ed team, and that's why in the picture I'm shooting over 2 women, and they were tall and they smacked us. Like I'm talking about, it might have been like 4 to 15 or something like that.
Oh, they were going crazy.
They smacked. I think they ended up winning the whole thing.
Yeah, they locked in.
But I love that picture though. That's
that's a moment for sure. When I seen that picture, I was like, "What? This is not real." Man.
It's a legendary.
My form looked fire.
It looked fire.
It looked like I'd be shooting.
Exactly. That's why I was like, Grxtty was going crazy. That's why I had to ask you because I'm like, anytime I see anybody like post any sports photos, I always want to ask. Like we asked Zach about his moment with kcoyi. I love these like just like. Local rappers like video like these moments where people just like are shooting around and just like there's no video to it, so I'm always just like curious. Yeah. That's fire. I wanted to ask about what is it like directing, because you shoot a lot of music videos for a lot of the homies and just like some people out of state. Like, how do you approach that, like, process? Are you very, like, treatment, it's got to be this color? Like, are you very, like, heavy on, like, palettes and things like that? Or
I'm pretty free form with stuff like that. Like, when it's something that I'm doing with all those swim team, we're a little more careful over there. We're definitely, like, making the treatment and trying to be a little more intentional with everything.
Yeah.
Usually when it's just me filming, like if I do it, whatever be a commercial or a music video, it's always just, it starts with a conversation. I pull up on them. What's your idea? What do you got? And I take direction from every artist I work with. You know, I like to. I just want to know if I can, you know, try to see what they're seeing. Yeah. Then it makes the process a whole lot easier. Like, and I try to take pride in the fact that I'm really not listening to how people are saying, because you know how artists talk when they're excited about an idea, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, everything is like not even complete sentences, you know? And you're just like, it's like, and so I think that has helped me a lot because I understand the artist's point of view of what they're trying to get at and where their mind's at and how they see themselves. And then from there, I'll add my 2 cents in. I'm like, okay, you know, maybe if you want to do that, here's a good place to do that. Or if you want, you know, we could do this angle or this, you know, I'll try to throw in what maybe some knowledge that I have in that. But then my main thing, especially when it comes to music videos, is trying to make everybody look like a star. Like in terms of like we were saying, like, does this person look like an actual rapper?
Yeah.
And I think that that's the only reason like my videos have some sort of like interest. Like I'm sure like because of like I have the fundamentals of going to school for it, and like I know how to set up a camera, so the shots are always going to be pretty well lit, pretty well exposed and stuff like that, and pretty, you know, the framing is thought about. But for the most part, I'm just trying to make people not look corny. Like that's really like and the only thing that ever throws me off about a music video is if you just look corny, you're just like being kind of goofy, you know. It's like, and it depends on the artist obviously, but just like trying to make sure that I'm like just trying to make someone look as authentic as possible and keeping it true to them. And then it's super easy. Then it just, when, you know, then I'm just cutting and just making sure that they just look cool.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, because I don't do, especially when it's just me, a video that I directed, edited, like I don't really go crazy with the effects these days. I'm more or less just kind of cutting in and then adding in whatever they think is something that they wanted.
That's fire. Because what you and Bougie have been doing with the videos, I really love. Just how you guys work together, and I feel like the chemistry, like off camera, like on camera, just like you guys are just having a great time and just coming up with like really fun and like crazy concepts to like shoot, and especially like where you guys shoot. The one I forget the name. I forget the name of the song, but where you guys are outside of the convenience store and everybody's just flexing like bags and like games and shit. I was like, that it's such a fire video because it's not over the top. It's not really crazy like location wise or anything like that. But like I just felt like the energies and just like the angles you captured, it drew me in like the entire time, and I felt like it really encompassed the song a lot.
Yeah, so, yeah, that song's Shorty.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bougie Main. Bougie's the homie, and Bougie actually, he always comes to me with some sort of idea. Like he's always just like, this is exactly what I like. We just did the video for Soulja, and he basically planned the whole thing. He's like, the homie's gonna pull up. I'm gonna put Jeff in the small shirt, and then and he's like. Yeah, he's like, Johannes, you're gonna be the mean one, and then he had all these plans. So I love working with Bougie because he's he understands Bougie Main so well. Like I learned a lot from him in that regard of like he knows exactly how he wants to be perceived. Yeah, and it's him being his authentic self for the most part, but it's he knows exactly how he wants to look and how the Bougie brand is built, and he's very intentional about who he's picking to be inside of his videos and stuff like that. So
no, that's fire.
Yeah. I agree though.
The haircut in the middle of the battlefield, that's different.
Come on, I gotta make sure I'm right. Soulja. I gotta make sure I'm right. You know what the fuck? I love it. So I wanted to ask about when you and Grxtty are working together, because I love. First of all, you two as a duo. Great on music, great on wax.
Shout out Grxtty.
Shout out Grxtty.
But the video you guys put out of making the song was fucking hilarious. Yeah. So I wanted to know like what it was like recording and like just that whole process of just like, again, another level of taking the craft serious and just like I'm gonna reach out to someone who's been doing it a while and just has a rapport of just like I'm making music and just actually in the industry.
Man, that was such a fun time. Steve.
Yeah,
that was a crazy time. That didn't eventually lead to you being tired and crashing the whip, did it?
No, that was the movie.
That was the movie.
Yeah. Shouts out.
That's a whole different story.
Time.
No, so because I keep because like when I was free, I'm actually working right now, so I'm like I'm getting more into like a scheduled routine. But at this point in time, I was strictly freelance, so I was not really like respectful of like the fact that Steve got somewhere to be in the morning. But like I was just like, bro, it's the time. And so like I had like me and Steve linked up on just like some regular shit, and just like we were just like, yeah, about to go grab like a bite to eat or something. And then right before he left, I was like, yo man, like I've been DMing Guap Dad randomly. And he was like, what? And he was like, yeah, like I don't know. He said like DM me if you want features, and I DM'd him and he replied, and we talked about it, and think we're gonna do it. And I was like, you know, I know like I just gotta get the bread from my cousin. He could give me some bread to do it, and we'll make it happen. And then we didn't have the beat or anything, but we were just like, we'll think about it. You know, that was just like it was literally just like a little side conversation. And then we got in the whip, went to go look for some food.
Sidestep. He leaves to LA tomorrow, by the way. Like at this time, like he had to go to LA tomorrow.
No. The thing was, Gank was in LA and already. So Gank was already in LA, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna do it, like I'm gonna just pull up. The Gank's already down there. Yeah. Like because usually like if like we're busy with doing like, you know, freelance stuff, we had our own schedule in that way. So it's the fact that he was gone, it was almost like, you know, kind of like I had a free day. I was like, well, I can just pull up with him. Like I know I don't have no obligations. I don't have to go do any film or anything. So I was like, I could like buy the flight and I could be there tomorrow. And then that was like what I was texting too, because I was like, yo, like when I was texting Guap Dad, he kind of was like, oh, you're not in LA, and he kind of just like seemed iffy about it. Like he was like, oh well, like, you know, it sounds like I don't know, probably didn't want it to be too extra of like a thing, you know. Yeah. So I was just like, so then I texted him. I was like, right before we left, I was like, yo, I'm gonna I was like, yo, I'll fly out there tomorrow. Like, are you down? I'll catch a flight. Like, it's good. And then he was like, yep. And then it took a little bit of convincing. He was just like, I don't know. He's like, well, send me the money. And I was like, well, you're also Guap Dad. I was like, I don't know, like your whole brand is scamming. I was like, I don't know if that's really a smart move of me to just like send the scammer the money. And then so I was like, and I was like, yo, you know, like I can't even do that, but I'll pull up on you with it in cash. And he was like, I'm just trying to find out if you're serious. And I was like, bro, like you don't even know. Like I'm dead ass serious. And he was like, yep, it's good, bring the bread. And so we were out driving looking for food, and then we went to who was that place? I
don't know what it's called. It was like a crazy.
It's kind of like it's like a chain, but it's like an upper class chain.
It was like a steakhouse.
It was like I don't know. We were just like, I was like, man, we pulled up to some random place and the line was hella booming. I was like, man, fuck this shit, Steve. I was like, we're about to go get a Guap Dad feature. I was like, bro, this is my last time being broke. Let's go. And then, come on. And then we just went to like the super expensive, and we were in there like looking goofy, just like we had like
in normal clothes,
normal fits, and but they treated us like. And the dude, actually, I need to tap in with the waiter. Was like hella intrigued because he was asking, he was like, what's a special occasion? He could, like, you know, just based on the drip, he was like, what's going on? What are y'all celebrating? You know,
what are you guys here for?
You know, and he was like, this is not casual for y'all. And he was like, and we told him, I was like, oh, like I don't want to like jinx anything, but I'm about to do a feature with like an artist I want to work with. And then he gave me his card. I have his card to this day. He told me, he was like after everything was done, he's like, I don't know like who you're even talking about, but like whenever it happens and you know, he's like, just call me, man. I don't know, whatever. And he just gave me his card, and like
that's fire.
I gotta give that dude a call. He's like, yo, man, let's stream Cacti.
He gave us like a free drink or something too. That was
Yeah. He plugged us. So then after that we left, and I was like, Steve, all right, we gotta make the beat. And so and this is always like, I could tell like this is when like the shoulders get up and he gets like in this like, and like because
it gets intense.
You know, because there's not really much as an artist I can do. You know, like I definitely have my own like opinions, and Steve will ask me, you know, does this sound good? Does that not sound good? But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to push any beat that Steve's not really fucking with. Yeah. You know, so I'm letting Steve just sit there and just like, and y'all should see the way Steve like they just like there's a lot of deleting of the beats. Yeah.
Before I got to Cacti, I got to like literally I remember this. I got to Cacti, the beat, I got it exported at like 6 a.m.
Yeah. We started working on it at
midnight. Yeah. So I made multiple beats, And he's like, I fuck with this one. And I was like, I don't. Delete. Next one.
This is gone.
There was a point where like I literally was just like, Steve, I like the beat. Like I wasn't even listening to the beat. I was like, bro, it's done. And he was like, nope. And it was up for so long that like I remember I took a nap while you were making the beat, and I woke back up still making the beat, and then finally the beat was done.
Yeah.
I've definitely been a part of a few of those sessions where you're just like, I like it. They're like, no. The producer mind is such a genius understanding of music where they're just like, you'll hear a snare off in like the middle of the song, and you're just like, nah, if I can't, and I need this snare here, and it won't work, so it all has to go. So like, I think that level of attention is important, especially with the craft that you guys have.
Steve knows too, man. Like, Steve won't admit it, but Steve's a musical genius, bro. Steve just, he knows, and like, that's why I trust him, because, and this is like, I've always known Steve was a musical genius, but this is when I really knew in this moment, because we did that, we made the beat, right? Steve's up all night making this beat. I'd already bought the flight. Like, as soon as I texted him and told him, I was like, I'm not going to lie on that, so at least I'm going to buy the flight. I went home, slept for a few hours, and the first thing I did was call my cousin. It was like, all right, man. Well, like, and my cousin, and he raps too, so he had already like bought a feature, so like, and I was just gonna pay him back for it. So I was like, like, I don't got the bread right now, but I know, like, and he was like, am I good for it? And he was like, yep, I got you. And so he slipped me the bread, and then so I literally like booked this whole studio set without even having the money for the feature, and then I went down there and flew down there and like texted gang. I was like, yo, man, I'm randomly in LA now. Like, I know you're like, I'm here. Then gang ended up pulling up to the studio, and then I was playing beats for Guap, and I played him like a bunch of shit. Like, I played him like some shit that was like on PRML and some shit that like, I think Google Me Better wasn't even out. Was it out yet? It might have been out.
No.
I'm not sure. I don't think it was out. I
don't think it was either.
And so I was playing him a bunch of shit, and he was just like, yeah, like, yep, I get you. Like, I know. He's like, he was just trying to like figure out like what kind of music am I even making,
Yeah.
And then as soon as I played him the beat for Cacti, he was like, yo, I could slide on this, and I was like, Steve's so fucking cheap. I was like, oh my, I was like, Steve. like literally as soon as he heard it, like he heard everything else, and he was just like, and then as soon as he heard the beat for Cacti, he's like, oh yeah, I could slide on this, and then. It must have been so filthy, because at that point we were in this little like office place where it was basically all recording studios, right, in Hollywood, and we were in like this tiny ass studio when we first met, and then as soon as he heard that beat, he was like, all right, let's go, and he took us out of that and he took us into his actual studio. So he was like, all right, this is like some serious shit. And then he hopped in the booth and rapped for like 4 minutes straight on the beat, so that I have the acapella too of him, just like his first take of just like him freestyling. And then I think this is when I earned his respect, of when he was just he asked me how, he was like, how was that? And I was like, I thought about it for a second. I was like, I could easily just like be a fan and just be like, bro, whatever you do is fire, But then I was like, I heard it, I was like, what's tight, just like finish, like tighten it up, like I want to hear it. And he was like, and then he got serious. I think he was kind of maybe expecting me to just be like, whatever is good,
Yeah.
And so then he really went in, and then he like went in, did the whole verse, and I freestyled a little bit, but then eventually went back and wrote it, and that was a magical time. And the whole time too, I was like I told gang to pull up like with the camera to like kind of. I was like, if there's a moment, but we also weren't trying to be on like no super like, oh, like this, what's up, man? Like we weren't trying to be on that way. So I was like, if there is something, but we just ended up kicking it for so long. We're like sitting there, and like by the end of the night, we're like all wasted pretty much. But by the time the video was being filmed, like, excuse me, we're like super drunk, and I know Guata was super drunk, because when he pulled up, the first thing he said to me was, I'm plastered. And then we continued to drink tequila and cacti the whole night. And that's how it came to be. Like, he literally he made the bar about sipping cacti, because we had cacti that night, just surprisingly. And so he was like, "What you want to put? You never had cacti?" And so it was really out the vibes. And I don't even remember I wasn't even paying attention when he was in the booth, when like he came out and was like, yo, you didn't record that? Like, I didn't even remember what it sounded like. So it literally, it's just like a derivative of like that, of the engineer being like, no, it sounds like this. And then I couldn't get it out of my head. The way he hit it, he was like, I was like, I couldn't get it out of my head. So I was like, it has to be this. And I just like kind of tweaked it a little bit.
Yeah.
and I'm so like I don't know what possessed me to pull my phone out at that perfect time, but it was literally perfect timing. Like I was like, he's being way too. He was cracking jokes the whole night. Like Guap Dad is so funny, and I've seen him. We've hung out a few times.
Yeah.
I've never seen him be funnier than that night. Like I thought, like I was like, I've never like it was so. Just he was just like every joke was hitting, and he was just hilarious. And I was like, I didn't capture any of this. And so I don't know. I just eventually, I guess at some point I was drunk enough to just be like, I just gotta film.
I gotta film something.
I gotta film something. I actually have some more like random shit that I filmed of just him talking. Like he just has the craziest stories, and yeah, he's hilarious.
That's fire. That sounds like a great night in the studio, just like creating music and like making a friend, like outside of just like working together and just taking the craft serious and like you knowing where you wanted to take the song and just like pushing that, but also just like making a like, all right, let's like kind of kick in the studio and make sure the song is good because we have a rapport. Yeah. I think that's fucking fire.
Yeah, I'm big on that too. Like I hate sending shit back and forth. Like I will if it comes to it, and if it's somebody who I'm like good homies with them, like it might just be more convenient to do that, to just send shit back and forth. But yeah, like I knew this is something I always tell myself is like if I'm in, like one of my big things I want to be in the studio with rappers. Like if I'm like when I reach that point so where I'm on and I'm connected with the bigger artists, I want to always be in the studio. Like I think that's where the magic happens of being in the studio and just like you got like that moment of me being like, oh yeah, that's cool, like but tighten it up. Yeah. That's all shit that only happens like that can't happen over email.
Exactly.
I might get I'm not even gonna get a response. He's like, nah, you got the feature. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's like something that I'm sticking to. And I have actually since that experience been in a situation where I sent somebody the bread before pulling it to the studio and got like and didn't get the verse out of it. So now forever I will like always be like, all right, I'm pulling up, nope, cash in person, like this is how we're doing it always.
Nah, that makes sense. I feel like that creates better music just because it's like it's just the intangibles. It's like Cacti comes out because you guys are drinking Cacti. Like if he was drinking Cacti, it may not even like hit the same where it makes the connection. Is like probably a bunch of laughter that got it to like that bar that's just like, oh, that's fucking hilarious. Like that has to like get into it. So I feel like those moments, just like we were talking to Lex yesterday, just having those in-person moments and just like really connecting with people can't be lost. Like you can have it turns into more friendship. It turns into more energy when it's just reciprocated in person and it's not over like text message. Because even you two probably like DMing each other at first was very like formal and just gauging each other's energy. And probably when you saw each other, it was just nothing but laughs and kicking it. So it's that different energy that you can now just always have in life. Yeah,
exactly. And it ended up being like super full circle to just be like, didn't even know that he knew Travis and like, to be on that. Like as soon as Travis said that he was doing the show, I was like, bro, please. I was like, you don't even, I was like, I actually already like met Aguab. I was like, yo, like this would be fun. And then so that was really full circle. I was like, wow, like I really got I lucked out on just being able to have like things line up. Like I doubt I'd even be playing I doubt I would have played Showbox last year if it wasn't for those things just happen to be the right. Like there's like I'm not at that level where they're putting me on the market yet. So it's like I got lucky. Man.
Nah, I don't think it's luck. I think you work hard enough to get put in those situations. Like
facts.
Like I think when luck meets opportunity, they say like it creates like those moments. So like you already doing like you and Steve were already putting in like the 1,000 hours to like get those features and just have that energy and respect it, and just like those moments are deserved. I feel like the universe don't give nothing that's not granted. Like you very much earned that moment. It just happened to be last year and not the year before. So it's like those just moments like that will just continue to happen to just like to that they say to the feelings lost. You'll be on tour and like opening and headlining so much you'll just be like you'll look up in 2-3 years and be like, fuck, I was on tour for over 100 days, over 150 days. So like those moments are really like dope when you just they happen because you put the energy and work into it.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I gotta give that a round of applause.
Give that motherfucking applause, please. The fuck? Talking about all that work, all that professionalism, all that real life. Yes.
Do you think it's crazy that where your first show of 2021 was and where you ended 2021?
yeah, and y'all. Well, I know Tavares.
Tavares was there.
Yeah, he was there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
where I first
a blast, man. Life's a blast sometimes, bro. Like that's where we first met, and that was just UW Retro doing this. It was UW Retro. For those who don't know, and you need to know if you're an artist out there, definitely tap in with UW Retro because they do a hip hop. Actually, it's not hip hop. I don't want. It's an open mic that they just do. I think it's every Monday or something like that at UW. I think the hip hop club puts it on. It might be like the Black Student Union. I'm not sure, but they put it on. It's always dope, and like I knew homies that had done it, and like I came and support them. So, but it was dope. They actually just reached out to me. I had tried like the way it works is a little wonky. You kind of pull. Or when I pulled up, it was like you pull up, you sign up, and then you like have to take your flash drive to somebody, and then they might put you. It was like really like a big up in the air. So I never actually did perform at the UW Retro pre-pandemic. We're still in the pandemic, but when things started to open up, they had just reached out to me and were like, "Yo, can you please come do this?" And I was like,
That's fire.
I was like, "Yeah." And I hadn't performed in super long, and that ended up just being a really good tester. And I actually, got to shake some hands and meet some good people, and it was worth it. There was
I was over there grooving. Just send me in front.
I remember because I had met you like maybe like right before that, and
I think let me get it straight. Was the listening party before that or after?
After,
yeah.
Okay,
I believe so.
I don't. Me and Grxtty met in Tacoma just randomly.
Okay.
Well, actually, the listening party was before that.
Was it?
It was before that because I know when I promoted it, I was like, "What songs do y'all want to hear me perform?" And the songs were already out.
Okay, fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
you just had told me.
It goes crazy.
Told me about Grxtty. I was like, bro, this man right here. Man, Corey was just telling me about this man. A couple days ago.
He literally he texted me and was like, "Oh, I met Grxtty today." I was like, "That's fire."
Bro, it was some crazy shit. And then I told him, I was like, "Man, we gotta get you on the podcast. Man, we gotta talk to you about Groovy Tapes." Like
full circle moment.
Yeah, and now we here.
Oh, that's dope. I always love meeting people and like their vibe. I love that I met you as a musician before I met you what you do as a profession, just because I've always had a rapper. That's how I always viewed you. I've always saw you as like a musician, artist first, and then I found out that you did videos and you were a part of this team, and just I was like, there was so much depth. I remember being in ETC one time talking to Daz about the videos that they were making just for their own content, and he was like, "Oh, that's Grxtty," and I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, that's Grxtty does our videos too," and I was like, "No, the rapper Grxtty." He's like, "Yeah, he also does fire videos," and I was like, "Oh, that." It always just makes me so intrigued when people do two things at a high level. So it's just one of those very. I feel like a real Washington moment when I'm just like, he does this, he also does this, and they're both like they don't lack off in any way, which is just really cool to then just like see you perform live and just like make all these big steps in your own career, and just really amazing. I want to I heard you interview a month or so ago, and I just love the brand. I love how you represent yourself. I love the team that you have built and just the homies that you have around you. It's just dope energy every time.
Man, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Man, so much love, man. So much love in the building.
Got to.
Yeah, bro.
It's
Crazy.
This is where we do it. Sorry. Listen. Let me wrap up this beautiful conversation with a little bow and tie. You feel me?
Okay.
Grxtty and Steve, do we have any new music on the way coming soon? Are we talking? What's the new work? If you want to talk about it before we head out.
Sure.
What's new work, Steve? What's the last shit we worked on?
We have a couple singles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A couple big singles coming out. You guys will hear one of them if you go to the music video shoot on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me and him are working on. We're working on another project, man.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, we're always we're like constantly at limbo with like 3 projects at once,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like, all right, is it time
Which
to focus
one?
on this?
Yeah, which one is it gonna be?
We
That type?
Yeah,
type of
exactly.
feeling?
Yeah, like which one are we finishing up? Yeah,
Yeah.
We made a song. We actually made this crazy song that we probably won't drop until the situation is right. But like and now it's been so long. You know, when it's your own music and it's been so long that you're like you don't know how like it actually sounds to somebody else with fresh ears. But in all this time of making music, me and Steve have never like. Literally, like, I called him the next day, and, like, he was on the same wave. As soon as he picked up the phone, we were just like, bro, how does it feel to make the best song ever? Like we've never done that before after making all this music. So, like, you'll hear the song one day. It's nothing crazy as far as, like, what it is. It's just crazy that the song is just, I don't know.
I'll put it this way. If the Mariners start going to the series, you guys are going to hear this song a lot sooner.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
Sorry ass.
And we all know it.
For us to get
And we all know that you're, you know, we talking about 2022, 2021,
2023, 2024.
Come on, man. We gonna make it happen, man. KWJT.
Shout out my Yankees.
You've been grooving with the South. We got Grxtty, Steve, Corey, Grxtty.